Have you ever looked at a brand new skyscraper, a sleek smartphone, or even a shiny car, and wondered where the flawless, unblemished metal in them actually comes from? Before metals get recycled, bent, reshaped, or repurposed, there's a stage where they are completely untouched, pure, and made for the very first time. That's what we call virgin metal. It's the starting point, the clean slate, the raw material before human invention transforms it into something useful. But how exactly do we get virgin metal? And why is it still so important in a world where recycling is everywhere? Today, we're going to take that journey. From hidden ores locked inside ordinary rock, to powerful furnaces that melt and transform them, to the refining that brings out their purest form, we'll uncover how virgin metal is made, right here, on History of Simple Things. Virgin metal starts its life deep underground. Unlike recycled metal, which comes from old cars, broken electronics, or construction leftovers, virgin metal has to be produced from scratch, starting with minerals locked inside the Earth's crust. Everything begins with mining. Huge mining operations, sometimes stretching for miles, search for deposits of ore, rock that contains enough metal to be worth extracting. For example, bauxite is the primary ore of aluminum, hematite and magnetite are major sources of iron, and chalcopyrite is one of the most common ores of copper. Mining itself can take two main forms: open-pit mining and underground mining. Open-pit mining is like carving a massive bowl into the ground, layer by layer, with enormous trucks and excavators scooping out rock. It's used when the ore is near the surface. Underground mining, on the other hand, is more like building a labyrinth of tunnels beneath the earth, chasing deeper deposits. In both cases, the goal is the same: extract large amounts of ore so that the metals inside can be separated out later. But here's the thing: when ore is first pulled out of the ground, it doesn't look like shiny metal. In fact, it looks like ordinary rock. The metal is hidden inside, mixed with oxygen, sulfur, or other elements, and sometimes bound tightly within minerals. So the next step is concentration, separating the valuable minerals from the unwanted rock. This concentration process can involve crushing the ore into small pieces, grinding it into a fine powder, and then using physical or chemical techniques to pull out the good stuff. For example, iron ore might be separated with magnets, since iron is magnetic, while copper ore might be treated with chemicals that cause the copper-rich particles to stick to bubbles in a flotation tank, rising to the surface for collection. At the end of this stage, you have a much more concentrated material that's ready for the real transformation: smelting. Smelting is where things get fiery. Imagine giant furnaces running at thousands of degrees, hot enough to melt rock and separate pure metal from its chemical companions. In the case of iron, for instance, ore is combined with coke, a form of carbon, and limestone inside a blast furnace. As the furnace roars to life, the carbon reacts with oxygen in the ore, leaving behind molten iron that collects at the bottom. Copper smelting, meanwhile, involves roasting the ore to remove sulfur, and then heating it further to produce a liquid metal. No matter the method, smelting is the turning point. This is where dull rock becomes recognizable metal. However, the metal at this stage isn't quite ready to be called virgin metal. It still contains impurities. That's where refining comes in. Refining is like polishing the final product, stripping away anything that's not pure metal. For copper, electrolysis is commonly used. The impure copper is made into a big plate and placed in a tank of acidic solution, where an electric current slowly dissolves the copper and redeposits it onto a pure copper plate. Aluminum also goes through purification steps to reach the high level of purity required for industries like aerospace. For precious metals like gold and silver, chemical methods such as the Miller process or the Wohlwill process are used to achieve nearly 100% purity. Once refined, this is the moment we can truly call it virgin metal. It's pure, untouched, and has never been used in a product before. From here, the metal can be cast into ingots, sheets, wires, or any other starting form, ready to be shaped into everyday items, from soda cans to jet engines. Now, you might wonder, why go through all this trouble to make virgin metal when recycling seems like a faster, greener solution? After all, scrapyards are full of old cars, appliances, and electronics just waiting to be melted down. And yes, recycling is crucial. It saves energy, reduces waste, and cuts down on mining. But virgin metal still has a key role to play. First, not all metals in circulation are recoverable. Some end up in landfills, some are scattered in small amounts across products that are hard to recycle, and some get contaminated with other materials. Second, many high-tech industries require metal of the highest possible purity, something recycling can't always guarantee. Think about the copper wiring in your phone or the aluminum in an airplane wing. Tiny impurities could cause big problems in performance and safety. That's why industries still rely on virgin metal as their baseline, even though recycled material is mixed in wherever possible. There's also an economic side to this. Mining and refining create jobs and fuel economies, especially in countries rich in mineral resources. Entire towns and industries have grown around mines, from the copper mines of Chile to the iron mines of Australia. Virgin metal production is a massive global operation that continues to power development, even as the world works to make it more sustainable. Of course, we can't ignore the challenges. Mining and smelting can be tough on the environment. Open-pit mines can scar landscapes, refining processes can produce greenhouse gases, and the huge energy demands of smelting, especially for aluminum, can strain power grids. That's why modern producers are constantly looking for ways to reduce emissions, recycle more efficiently, and even develop new methods, like using renewable energy for smelters or experimenting with hydrogen instead of carbon in steelmaking. Virgin metal may be essential, but making it cleaner is just as important for the future. So the next time you pick up your phone, drive your car, or even crack open a can of soda, remember, before all the recycling, before all the shaping and reshaping, there was virgin metal, born from the earth, refined by fire, and ready to become anything we imagine. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.